keep chopping the wood. No matter if you see results right away or not, keep your head down and keep working. You see, social media and the culture have led us to believe that success is built overnight, when in reality, some of the biggest success stories are the ones that were built over a long period of time, brick by brick. You see, the road to success is not a 24-hour drive. And we're going to talk about that and more right now. Fell in love with the cat. What's going on? I'm Kalani Evans, and this is the Men Up Podcast, where every man, woman, and human are welcome. And I welcome you back to another episode, 5 to be exact. It is August 10th, 2026.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Pick up sticks. What's going on, man? I'm glad to be here with you. I feel blessed. I feel good. A lot on my mind today. So we got a lot to get into today. A lot going on in the world. Got some things on my mind I want to talk with you about per usual. And yeah, man, I'm feeling good. Another Monday, another weekend in the books. You know, another week getting ready to go, gearing up on my typical super dad stuff. You know what I mean? Dealing with this 3-year-old is no walk in the park, but I love it and I'm built for it and I'm here for it every step of the way. And it was a good week. I have a grievance off top. I got a grievance off top. I don't want to start negative, but hey, I got to do this. What the fuck is up with Temu, man? What is going on with Temu? Temu is trash. D1 trash.
Take it easy.
I don't think I'm ever going to order off Temu again. Now, if y'all want to hit me up for a sponsorship one of these days, then we will striketh all of this from the record.
Really, nigga?
All of this will be stricken from the record. We will get rid of this quick. But until then, man, fuck Temu, man. Temu is garbage, man. I'm just telling you right now, if you do shop at Temu, you better order about, say, 3 sizes up from the size you want. Because if you ask for a 2, 3X, you're getting a negative 2 or 3X. You know what I mean? We ordered a pack of tank tops. Hey, man, they can fit my 3-year-old son. It's insane, man. It's insane. Ordered a hoodie. And maybe this is my fault for shopping at Temu. You guys don't judge. Hey, I'm looking for a deal. Wherever there's a deal, I shall be there. I will be present wherever the deals are. You know, I ain't too proud. But Temu, man, I'm disillusioned right now, man. They have some making up to do with me. You know, you order a size and it's like literally 3 to 4 sizes too small. I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but it's damn sure happened to me and people I know. And it's just like, dog, what are we doing here? Or it's just the wrong order completely. It's just something that you didn't even order. It's crazy. Temu, we got to step it up. I know you get for what you pay for. You get what you pay for. But come on, man. Temu's got to do better. That's just at the top of my mind right now. It's just kind of ridiculous. I got a hat off there one time. It was supposed to be a snapback. This shit there was no snap to it. It looked like it had been through the ringer too. Like it was, oh man. I could go all day on Temu, but let up because one day they might want to throw your boy a sponsorship. You never know. We might be. You never know. So I digress. But yeah, man, I hope you're doing well. I want to get right into it. There's a couple elephants in the room in the culture right now, and I want to just jump on both of them. You know what I mean? And ride them.
Really, nigga?
Pause. We're going to start with the WNBA. Yo, so much to unpack here. The WNBA has proven why they have lost money for the first 30 years of their lifespan as a company, a brand, a business, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to Enes Kanter. Shout out to Royce White. for showing the hypocrisy of this league. I'm an avid sports fan. If you're new here, let me just inform you. I love women's sports. I love sports in general. I love the WNBA. I grew up watching the WNBA. I'm a fan of the WNBA. But what they have done and displayed in the last 3 years has been nothing short of a shit show. It is a prime example of how not to run your business. The WNBA has been carried by the NBA for 30 years. We all know this. They've lost money. They've been bleeding out money forever. They're finally getting some momentum with Caitlin Clark, right? And what do? They shit on her, throw her to the back burner, let her get all types of slander from coaches, players, media, never sticking up for her or anything like that. And that's cool. Okay, you don't want to show favoritism. That's one thing. But what took place with the WNBA being pro-trans women playing in their league, potentially, I love what Enes Kanter and Royce White have done. If you haven't heard, obviously, the WNBA, some of the players, some of the coaches have come out and said, hey, this is an inclusive league. We're all about inclusivity. If a trans woman wanted to play in our league, we would gladly accept them. We would open arms. Blase blah, right? Total, which if you're new here, I'll let you know. But if you're not, you already know I'm not a fan of. I believe in protecting women's sports. I don't believe in trans athletes, trans women participating in women's sports. I just don't. I don't agree with it. It's not fair. It's illogical. It's unethical. And I don't agree with it, right, on any level. So, in response to that, to that latest news, and this all came from Sophie Cunningham saying what she said originally, right? Which we support Sophie Cunningham. We'll get around to Sophie Cunningham. We got a lot more to talk about with her in this episode. Please believe. We got a lot to touch on with Sophie. This all stems from Sophie Cunningham's original comments about her not being okay with trans women participating in the W or in women's sports in general. She caught a lot of flack for that, and she also caught a lot of kudos from that and a lot of support from that. The WNBA obviously isn't backing her. They're not. So, Enes Kanter, a former NBA basketball player, and Royce White, who's now in the political realm, but he also was a college basketball player, played in the Big Three, played overseas, I think, declared for the draft. He was the man that refused to play in the NBA because he had a fear of flying. I don't know if you guys remember this story. This was 10, 11, 12 years ago, something like that. He came out, he was drafted, but he never played in the NBA because he had a fear of flying, right? So he comes out, him and Enes Kanter come out and have declared for the WNBA draft.
Oh, for sure.
And if you want to know what I think about that, if you can't tell already, this is how I feel about it. Bravo. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And you know why? Because the WNBA are hypocrites, and I'm glad someone or some ones are finally holding up a mirror to this hypocritical bullshit view. I am so glad that someone came out and held a mirror up to the WNBA. Because for someone who says they're pro women, for them to say that they're okay with a trans woman, a born man, playing in their league is so asinine. It is so ridiculous. So I am ecstatic about what Royce and Enes have done. They're pointing out the hypocrisy in this whole LGBTQ trans movement. They're pointing it out. And once again, as I've said plenty of times before, I don't have any problem with anyone identifying as what they want to identify as. But when it crosses over into sports and putting women in this position, you know, these women have worked so hard to get to where they're at. I've said this before. They've worked so hard to get to where they're at. So for the WNBA to be willing to just throw all to the side just to appease a community is crazy to me. But it makes sense because you know why? The WNBA is just a vehicle for the LGBTQ and the trans movement. That's all it is. It's not a serious league. It's a vehicle to drive the LGBTQ trans movement. That's all it is.
Oh, for sure.
That's all it is. They have agendas that they push through this league. And that's what the league is for. It's not a serious league. You saw that when they didn't back Caitlyn the way they should have. So for Ennis and Royce to be doing what they're doing, I applaud that. And, you know, the WNBA, of course, came out. The commissioner came out and said, oh, we're going to have to sit down and identify what a woman is. What?
What?
You mean it just now? You mean to tell me you're just now doing that? So now when men, real men that have played the game at a high level want to come in, all that mental health, all that, you're free to identify as whatever you want. All that goes out the window. Now we got to sit down and identify what a woman is, right? You fucking hypocrites. They're hypocrites, man. And it's just, they're putting a microscope and they're literally magnifying how ridiculous this whole thing is. How ridiculous this whole trans women in sports thing is. That's what Royce and Ennis are doing. They're putting the mirror up and saying, hey, this is what you want. This is what you built, right? This is inclusivity. You know, and they're doing interviews with Fox News. And I saw Royce doing an interview saying he's in his feminine era. And, you know, Ennis declared and said that he sees himself as a woman. And, hey, you gotta listen. You gotta abide by what makes them different from anyone else, right? Oh, because they're gonna come in there and dominate. Now it's a problem. So it's cool for these losers that could never make it in the men's sport to come over here to the WNBA and or wherever overseas, wherever it's starting. Because I think there's a Russian player overseas that plays. You ain't bad, you ain't nothing. A trans woman in Russia that plays professionally. And it's not fair. It's not fair and it's not right, man. We got to be real about these things. So if you're pro trans woman in sports, if you're pro LGBTQ and you're condemning what Royce and Ennis are doing, you are a hypocrite. You are. And everything you stand for is bullshit. It is. And this situation is proving that. It's bringing everything to the light. And I can't be more ecstatic. I couldn't be more happy about it. I could not be more happy about it. I mean, I haven't been that happy seeing anything socially in a long time. Politically, socially, I haven't been that happy about anything in a long time. I just think it was a beautiful move. Now it's your move, WNBA. Because if you tell them they can't play, they can't declare, they can't be a part of your league, then you just contradicted everything else that you claim you stand for over here when you're saying that it's okay for trans women to come over and compete. And I feel like they're gonna try to spin it and make it, oh, you have to have a cert, you have to be on the medicine for this amount of time, or you would have to have a surgery this X amount of time ago for you to be considered a trans athlete.
Not the cap.
They're gonna spin it and they're gonna make something out of it. They're gonna find a way to wiggle out of it. Trust and believe that. But at that point, the damage will already be done. The damage will already be done. The hypocrisy will already be exposed. It's been exposed right now in real time. Because they know it's not right. At the end of the day, it's not right. Trans women, if you want to be a trans woman, you still should have to play against men. Does not matter. You can't come over here and get it easy against these women who've worked their asses off to get to where they are. Even the ones that are standing with it. And I feel like they're doing that. I feel like, you got to understand, this WNBA is a cult. This WNBA is a mob. These players are pressured into saying these things and standing for these things. I'm sure these players and these coaches feel like if they don't stand with the movement, they're going to get run out of the league somehow, some way. They're going to, and I'm sure they feel that pressure. I'm sure they do. There's no way they can't, because you see it coming from all angles, whether it's announcers, every aspect of this league. If you're not with the trans movement, if you're not with trans women in this movement, you're going to be ostracized and alienated in this league. You're going to be a pariah if you don't hop on board. That's for sure. I mean, it's obvious. The proof's in the pudding. It's a mob mentality, this WNBA. Hey, this WNBA needs to be really studied. This shit, every locker room probably smell like Swishers and Hennessy, Black and Miles. I mean, it's turned into quite the mafia and mob league, and they got a mafia mentality. Either you're with them or you're against them. But I'm glad for Ennis. I'm glad that Ennis and Royce have pointed this out and pointed out the hypocrisy in the WNBA and what they're really about, and the agendas they're pushing. They're just a vehicle. They're just a vehicle for these agendas, for these different agendas. You saw what they did with Sophie Cunningham. When Sophie said that, she's been public enemy number one ever since. Prime example, you saw it when the Seattle Storm, when Indiana went to Seattle and played the Storm. You saw it then. There were two young ladies, two teenagers sitting courtside, and they had signs supporting Sophie Cunningham. This is after her comments about trans women in sports. They were supporting her. Why? Because she supported them and she was trying to protect women in women's sports. So these young ladies wanted to show their appreciation. And what happened? The fucking owner of the Seattle Storm came down and criticized and chastised and cursed out these two teenage girls for supporting Sophie Cunningham. Told them they ought to be ashamed of themselves and may God forgive them or some shit, some crazy. This is how these people are. These are mentally ill people. I am telling you. The owner of the team comes down courtside and criticizes two young women for thanking Sophie for standing up for them. What? The owner. And she was suspended and fined, but no, like, just think about that for a second. This is how these people operate. This is how these people operate. They're a mob. It's a mafia. It's a cult. If you're not with them, they will try to slice your head off. You will be ostracized. You will be a pariah. You will be on the outside looking in. And that's just what it is. But as far as the trans, we got a lot more to unpack because there's more with the WNBA. But as far as the trans the trans woman situation, I love it. It was a checkmate. It was a checkmate by Innocent Kenner and Royce White. And I love it. And I love what they did. And I'm just waiting to see what how the WNBA responds when they respond. When they respond. Y'all got everything to say about everything else very quickly. Come on, I want a response. Now you got to go to the table, right? Now you got to go cook up a response or cook up a way out of this, right? But they got other problems on their hands because in more WNBA news, the league that keeps on giving, I swear. Sophie Cunningham, just a few days ago, took a flagrant 2 from Dejanay Carrington, I think her name is. Clearly a flagrant 2. Sophie Cunningham went on the break, made the layup. Carrington knocked her in her head, busted her lip, all types of stuff, right? She gets the flagrant 2. She gets tossed. She tweets from the locker room. And her tweet is white privilege.
Stop it.
Dog.
Get some help.
I cannot make this shit up. White privilege. White privilege. This is the problem. This is why I don't look through everything with a racial lens. And this is why I've spoken on this before. This is the danger about looking through everything in life with a racial lens. You become into, this is black. It's not white privilege. It's not white privilege. It's black entitlement. It's white derangement. When you look through everything through a racial lens, this is what you get. This is the type of behavior and mindset you get. Everything is race with these people. Every single thing. They're not accountable, responsible for anything they fucking do. It's always racial. It's always the white man. It's always the white woman. We have to come out of this. This is black entitlement. Yes, and I'm a black man and I said that shit because it's true. This is black entitlement, man. You're giving over so much control of your life and your power to another entity, and like no race, no entity should have that much control over everything you do. And this is what it does. It creates an environment where you don't have to be held accountable for anything. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to work on yourself because it's never your fault. It's all their fault. It's all the white people's fault. Oh, I got fired from my job. Oh, it's white man. Yeah, it's the white man. Oh, I got a ticket. Yeah, I was going 20 over the limit, but it's the white man's fault. The cop was white.
Really, nigga?
Oh, I blew my check at the casino. Oh, yeah, the white man made me do it. Oh, it's always, as long as you have this mentality, you're never going to improve. You're never going to elevate. Everything's always going to be someone else's fault. It wasn't white privilege that got her kicked out of that damn game. It was a flagrant 2. It was clear. And the problem is the people that are there to correct and call people out on this shit, they don't. You had people like Kerry Champion, Jamel Hill, countless other WNBA analysts, instead of saying, hey, Dejanay, you fouled her. It has nothing to do with white privilege. You fouled her. Just own up to it, and let it go and move on. But you see, white derangement, black entitlement, all that kicks in. It's never my fault. It's always someone else's fault. It's always because of the system. It's always because I'm being oppressed. If you're oppressed in your mind, true or not, and race still exists. Of course, racism still exists. But every single problem you have is not because of white people. Listen, all my black people, listen, not just black, all my black, brown, minority, whatever, all my non-white people, listen. Every problem you have in life is not because of white people. Sometimes you're just not good enough and you need to improve. Sometimes you just made a mistake. Sometimes you need to hold yourself accountable. And as long as you're finger pointing and blaming someone for your issues, you're never going to improve. You're never going to progress. You're never going to elevate. As long as you're keeping a victim mentality, you're never going to elevate. We have to elevate beyond this race shit. We don't have the exact same plight that black and brown people had in the 50s and 60s. We don't. It's not the same. We might not be all the way to where we want to be, but we're very far removed from that. And I know the shit still exists, and it's systemic in some ways. And in some ways it's here, it's alive, but it's hidden. Yes, very true. But every single thing you do and every single thing you do wrong is not because of the white man or white privilege or whatever. And this is the mentality we have to get out of. We have to get out of this. We have to take the racial lens off. Sometimes we can't put everything to race. We can't blame everything on race. It's not real. You're giving people power over you that they shouldn't have. This woman has no accountability, and the whole WNBA is like that. This WNBA is full of jealousy, envy, insecurity. And for people like Jamel Hill, Kerry Champion, to not call this girl out, for them to just make excuses and then jump on Sophie Cunningham's head, basically. I think Carrie Champion said something like, oh, is she going to get, yeah, it was a flagrant 2, but is she going to get a brand deal from this? Is she going to get an endorsement from this? Alluding to Sophie Cunningham getting endorsements and brand deals and exposure for the point. There's a difference between pointing at somebody and taking somebody's fucking head off in a game. Angel Reese went viral and has never looked back for the gesture she made at Caitlin Clark. Remember? You can't see me. Clapping in her face. And she was applauded for it. But when Sophie Cunningham does the same thing, it's a problem. Because whether people want to admit it or not, black people are insecure and have an inferiority complex when it comes to white people. Y'all think white people are better than you. I don't. I don't see race in that way. But y'all think white people are better than you. And that's why those insecurities come out. You feel inferior to white people. And that's something that you need to change from within. White people aren't better than black people. Black people aren't better than white people. We're all human. But see, when you have your racial blinders on, you don't see any of that. All you see is race. It's such a surface level way to think and look at life. It really is. And it's pathetic and it's sad. And these are people, successful people, smart, intelligent, brilliant people who still can't get out from under this spell.
Stop it. Get some help.
It's amazing to me. They should have called that girl out and said, hey, you fouled her. It had nothing to do with white privilege. Come on. We can't do this. Let's stop this. That's what they should have said. But instead, they jumped on the bandwagon because, like I said, apart from the WNBA, just in society as a whole, it's a mafia mentality. If you're black and you go against anything black, you will be crucified, ostracized, criticized, barbecue, sauteed, put on the grill, hung in effigy, all of that in terms of socially. It's like social suicide to go against anything. But you know me, I don't give a shit. This is the Man Up Podcast. We say what's real and what we feel. So I'm going to have to take the brunt of whatever. But what I'm saying, I mean. And it's real to me. Everything is not racially motivated and racially charged. Everything is not white privilege. But some things are black entitlement. We have to get this entitled way of thinking and take that shit and throw it away. Take that whole mentality and replace it with accountability, with humility. That's what we have to do. With work. And when I say work, I don't just mean in the field of like, I don't mean in the employment field. I mean like work on ourselves. Work on ourselves. Having a different way of thinking, a different mentality. This is a slave mentality. You still want masses' approval.
Today's subject is slavery.
You still want masses' acceptance. We got to move on from this. We can't live that way. Because please believe this. If Sophie Cunningham had been the one on the other end of that foul and then went to the locker room and tweeted black privilege, she would not be in the fucking league today. As of Monday, she would have been gone. Fucking gone. Dejanay Carrington isn't going to face any backlash. She's not going to face any repercussions. No one's going to sit her down and talk to her and tell her you're wrong, like they should, because she's black and they don't want to offend her. That's where the entitlement comes in. Because if someone's willing to pacify you to that level, what do they really think about you? How do they really feel about you? How do they really feel about you? If they think you have to be catered to on this level. If they think your hand has to be held on this level. What do they think of you? So I think the WNBA is full of problems right now. And I think it's a symptom of a culture and a society that we're in right now, more so than anything. The WNBA is just it's just an example. It's just a sample size of what's really going on in society as a whole. It's just a microcosm. But we got to get out of this way. We got to get out of this. Everybody, we got to get out of this way of thinking. Everything can't be racially motivated. We got to. We have to. Black entitlement is real. White privilege is real. Black entitlement is real. And only one of them was prevalent in this situation here. And I tell you what, it wasn't white privilege. It was black entitlement. And if we're not careful, black entitlement is going to lead to complacency, laziness, which leads to corrosion. If we're not careful. A person, you're not entitled to anything. Okay? Especially in sports. It's all merit-based. You earn that flagrant too. So take your ass to the locker room and be quiet. And it just sucks that people like Sophie Cunningham can't speak up. Like Caitlin Clark, for example, she can't speak up and say anything. She's already got a target on her back. Because of being white and good. The WNBA is, like I said, it's a cult. If you aren't black or gay,
take it easy.
Get out of the way. That's the WNBA. That's how they play. Yeah, if you're not black or gay, get out of the way. You see, with Sophie's situation, it wasn't even about white privilege. It was about the trans comments, really. She's not a part of the club. That's why you had her ex-teammate tweet, "I always love a trans foul." And you're going to tell me this isn't a cult? You're going to tell me this isn't a league with a mafia mentality, a gang mentality? Sophie Cunningham's ex-teammate, her name escapes me, tweeted, "I love a good trans foul." Now, when your teammate wants to see you decapitated because you don't believe in trans women partaking in sports, that's sick. That's sick. And it just goes to show you how these women think about the Sophie Cunninghams, about the Caitlin Clarks, who did nothing but be white and good. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark hasn't done anything wrong but be white, good, and straight. In a league where you can't be all of those things. You must be either gay or black to get the pass in the WNBA. If you're white and straight, like Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham are, and you're great, like Caitlin Clark is, you're in trouble. You're not in the club. You're not in their club. And there is a club. Trust and believe. The WNBA needs a full makeover. And Caitlin Clark's, the Indiana Fever coach, she's garbage. She hasn't stuck up for one of her players not one time. Not once. Caitlin or Sophie. All she's done is stick up for the people that have wronged them, that have fouled them, that have came at them. She hasn't once stuck up for her own players. Why? Because she's scared to, because she's white. And the players who fouled Sophie Cunningham and were going at Caitlin Clark are black. So she's afraid of getting labeled a racist.
This nigga's scared.
Because that league is a cult and a mafia. Period, point blank. If you're not munching on carpet,
really, nigga?
Smoking Black and Miles and Swisher Sweets at halftime with the rest of the studs, the stud bruds, whatever the fuck they're called, you will be outed. No pun intended.
Take it easy.
You will not be joining the club. You will not be welcome. You got to hop on the Stud Buds live stream. Oh my God, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how these people just, they claim inclusivity and welcoming everyone, but they don't like straight women. They don't like men. They don't like masculinity. When they say inclusivity and welcoming everybody, they're just talking about themselves and what they stand for and their sexual orientation. They're not talking about straight people. They're not talking about men. None of that. The WNBA is in trouble. It needs new ownership. Get some people that know what they're doing in there. They're just going to stick to a merit-based system, that aren't going to push all these agendas, that are going to call it down the line straight. Get someone like that in here. The league is full of talent. It's full of women with great personalities, great game. Get some new. It needs a makeover from the top. You're going to waste a good opportunity. Yeah, man. And while we're on the topic of sports, we talked about LeBron James going to Philly before, but I wanted to delve into a little bit more on that, because I spoke about how it didn't make sense. On paper, it makes sense, but I spoke about legacy-wise for LeBron, how I didn't think it made sense, right? Ring chasing and all that. But I got to give him a little credit, But it makes sense to me for a different reason. I didn't realize that the Philadelphia 76ers ownership group owns about 3 or 4 major sports teams. They own the Redskins, I think the New Jersey Devils hockey team, and a couple other sports franchises, plus the Philadelphia 76ers. And so LeBron signing there makes more sense to me now, and it's a smarter move to me now, because LeBron essentially and ultimately wants to own a sports team when he's done with playing basketball. I think he's on record of saying that. He wants to own a sports team. So business isn't always about how much money you have. It's about the relationships you cultivate. That's what business is. That's the biggest aspect of business. Because someone's always going to have more money than you, right? But the relationships that you have are going to bode well for you in terms of business dealings down the line. So LeBron signing with Philly, not only is it good on paper because they have obviously a super team, but it's also good in terms of relationships going forward for him after he's done playing, because especially him taking the minimum $4 million a year. If they can win a championship, which I don't think they will, but if they can win a championship, the owners of the 76ers, they're not going to forget that. They're not going to forget him taking $4 million a year when he could have went and got more or pressed them for more. They're not going to forget him bringing a championship there. So he'll have a tie that's basically priceless. So that's why the move makes a little more sense to me. You know what I mean? And, obviously I feel like it's taken a page out of the Jordan playbook, right? Jordan, when a lot of people don't know that Michael Jordan went and played for the Wizards on that 2-year deal, but there was a back end deal that was supposed to take place. He was supposed to own the team after those 2 years. The deal fell through for whatever reason, I can't recall, but that was the main motivation of him playing those 2 years. And he ultimately went on to own the Bobcats, which they then went back to being the Hornets, their original name. But when Jordan bought them, they were the Bobcats. And he ended up becoming the first ex-player to actually own a team. He went and did that. So he achieved his goal, but the Wizards deal fell through. But I think I think you're going to see more of that. I think that's a good play for these players to get close to these owners, man. Because, man, they're the ones signing the big checks. They're the ones making the big moves. They're the ones that can put you in the room with other owners and you can wheel and deal. And that's how business moves are made. That's how business deals are made. So I feel like that behind the scenes, LeBron won't say that, but I feel like that's a factor in him signing there. I do believe that. And I think other players will follow suit. You see Steph Curry getting into, tech, being in the Bay Area and things of that nature. Joe Lacob and those owners, you're seeing more of player owner relationships, whereas in the past you never even saw that. I think Magic was the first one to do that, and it was very taboo at the time. Like his teammates were mad at him, like they weren't fucking with him. Like a lot of people were like, this is wrong, that the owner and the player, because Magic used to hang out with Jerry Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers back in the day, which the Buss family just sold the Lakers a couple years ago. But Jerry Buss and the Buss family owned the Lakers from the 70s, late 70s, all the way up until a couple years ago. The original owner, Jerry Buss, he used to hang out with Magic. Magic used to hang out with him.
Big Magic Johnson. What has he done?
And it was frowned upon by the team, frowned upon by the league, frowned upon by the other owners. And he ended up inking one of the, at the time, the richest deals in NBA history. I think it was like $1 million a year for 20 years or something crazy like that, which now is like, wow, obviously that's nothing. But then that was a whole lot. And a lot of people felt like it was because of their relationship that they had cultivated, that was the reason, or part of the reason, he got that contract. Obviously he won the championship as a freaking rookie too, so that didn't hurt. But he was the first person to kind of to toe that line, him and Jerry Buss. But now I feel like it's happening more. And as far as LeBron goes, people will say, okay, well, why didn't he sign to Cleveland? Doesn't he want to own Cleveland? It's his hometown team. I don't think the owner there, I think it's Dan Gilbert, right? I don't think he's ever selling the team, and he damn sure won't let LeBron get it. They got some bad blood there. I think that would have to be down the line, maybe, with Gilbert out of the picture, if LeBron were to ever have a chance to owning the Cleveland Cavaliers. But yeah, business is about relationships, man. It's not always about how much money you have. Business it's predicated on relationships. Remember that. For all my business people out there, people that plan on being in business one day or are in business, it's all about the relationships. That's the foundation. That's the foundation of a good businessman, or a person that, like, look at Magic. Prime example. Everyone loves Magic Johnson. It's not an accident that he got to where he's gotten to. Being part owner of the Dodgers, all the deals he's made in his illustrious business career, post-retirement career, post-basketball career, like, yeah, and it's because of his attitude. And I'm sure he's an easy businessman to work with. You know what I mean? I'm sure he does a tough negotiation, but it's the attitude. People love him. That goes a long way in business. Goes a long way. Obviously, you need hard work, dedication. Nothing's going to come easy, but relationships. But speaking of hard work, right? I want to get into something. We all see social media. We all see Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We all know the culture. Everything in the society right now is so microwaved. It's so right now. I want $1 million right now. I want a degree right now, Cheyenne Bryant. I want this woman right now. Boom. Everything. Instant gratification. Everything's about it's a microwave society. Everything is about right now. You want everything right now. But listen, so it's easy to get discouraged when things don't go your way. If you're starting a business, if you're starting a podcast like this one, if you're in school, whatever you're doing, it's so easy. It's so easy to get down on yourself if things don't happen right away, happen overnight. But I got to tell you, it's all about chopping that wood. It's all about laying that foundation brick by brick by brick. A lot of these people that claim to be successful overnight, that go viral, everything's about virality, right? Everything's about happening right now. It has to happen right now. Look, those things, viral trends come and go. Here today, gone tomorrow. no foundation. Overnight success comes and goes. No disrespect. Where's the Hawk Tua girl? Do we still talk about her? No disrespect. But these things don't last. These things don't last. This overnight success, it's not always the best way. It's not always the way that you want things to happen. And I know you pray to God that everything happens fast, right? And sometimes you might be like, why isn't God answering my prayers? Why is this not happening the way I want it to happen? You don't think I wanted this podcast to blow up by now?
Oh, for sure.
This is episode 5. You don't think I want to be viral already? But I understand it's about doing the work, laying the foundation, chopping the wood. Sustained success is the success that has foundation, that takes time to build. The road to success is not a 24-hour drive. It's not. People be like, oh, such and such came out of nowhere. Look at this business that's coming out. Look at this company. No, Netflix was around since the 90s. It didn't blow up until 2011, 2012, 2010, somewhere in that range. Jeff Bezos was in business 8 years before Amazon really started to take off. Coca-Cola's been around for 100 years. These are sustained businesses and companies and successes that took time to build. It doesn't, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know that old saying? Everything that's worth something substantial takes time to build. Everything worth something takes time to build. This podcast, I'm building. That's what Man Up is about. It's about laying the foundation brick by brick by brick, chopping that wood day by day. Then one day you look up and you see that you've built something. Follower by follower, dollar by dollar, sale by sale, whatever it is you're doing, you have to chop that wood. Don't worry about the overnight results. If you're not getting the results you want, it's okay. You have to keep going. One day you're going to look back and smile and say, hey, I remember when I sold my first 100 t-shirts. Say you're running a t-shirt business or you're running a clothing line. You started a clothing line. I remember when I couldn't even sell 100 t-shirts. It took me 6 months to sell 100 t-shirts. Now look at me. I'm doing 100,000 this month. But it took time to get there. It might have took you 6 months to get to 100. Then 7 months. You might have been at 500. And then a year in, you might have been at 1,000 or 2,000. It takes time. Everything takes time. But that's the foundation you need for sustained success. Overnight success, it comes and goes. That's not the success you want. You want something that's going to last. You want something with staying power. You want something with a foundation. So you keep building. You keep building. A brick isn't impressive. When you look at a brick, it's not impressive. When you look at 10 bricks, you lay 10 bricks, it's not impressive. But if you lay a brick a day, in a year, you're going to have something built. You lay 2 bricks a day, you're going to have something built in a year. But it's going to take time. The day-by-day results aren't always going to be what you want them to be. Everyone has an image or they have a goal in mind or a fantasy in mind about success and things happening. Oh, hey, as soon as I do this, boom, it's going to happen for me. It doesn't always work that way. You got to keep building. You got to keep chopping the wood. And you can't get discouraged by social media. You can't get discouraged because everyone shows their wins, but no one shows the work that was put in to get there. So you might think something happened for somebody overnight, but in essence, in reality, it didn't. They might have worked years to get to that point, but they're just showing you the end result. No one's going to show the work it takes behind the scenes to get to where they got to. You just see the glamour of them finally achieving it. But trust me, there was hard work. 9 times out of 10, they had to work their ass off to get there. And if they didn't, and it's overnight success, it's probably not going to last long. Serious. Microsoft, Apple, none of that stuff. None of those companies were built overnight. It took years of hard work, failures. And that's another thing. Don't get discouraged by the failure. The failure comes with it. The failure is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. That's what gives you thick skin, callous to keep moving forward. That's what shows you what you need to improve on. Failure is a beautiful thing. Don't get discouraged by failure. Everybody fails. We all fail. We all hit snags and road bumps and roadblocks, and we all have to backtrack. That's what I'm doing with this podcast, man. I'm trying to build it brick by brick. I don't want to get discouraged. I'm just going to keep chopping wood. I'm just going to keep grinding. I'm not going to get discouraged. It's all a learning process to get to the end goal. That's what this podcast is about. One of the things it's about. Represents that. Chopping that wood. Continuing on the journey. And it's easy to get discouraged, man. Sometimes you're scrolling and you see these people. It feels like it's happening for everybody but you. But you can't let that get to you. Let it be a motivational. It's good if it motivates you. That's good. Add logs to the fire. It adds fuel to the fire. That's great. But don't let it get you down to the point where you quit. Or the point where you feel like you can't go further. Keep chopping the wood. Keep grinding. Keep laying brick by brick by brick. Soon, you'll look up and whatever you were trying to build, it will be right there in front of you. Whatever you were looking to build will be there in all its glory. But don't let social media fool you. Don't let the culture fool you. It all doesn't happen overnight. It all doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, takes work. It takes falling down, getting back up, brushing yourself off. Yes. And you can do it. And you will do it. Just keep putting the work in. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to keep putting the work in. That's the key. So chop that wood. Keep your head down. Stay focused on the goal. Not on the results. Not on the small results. Stay focused on the goal and the task at hand. And you'll get there. You know, it's easy to have sometimes even with me, man, I have this existential nihilistic, just this nihilism about me. Like nothing matters. Nothing means it's easy to fall into that. Not only about whatever you're trying to accomplish, but just in terms of life in general. It's easy to have that existential nihilism. Like, oh, nothing matters. Nothing counts. Nothing matters. Life is just what it is. I'm down. I'm depressed. Nothing's going my way. Nothing means anything. Nothing matters. And social media will do that to you. And this culture will do that to you. And it'll beat you down if you let it. But we're not going to let it happen. We're not letting it happen. We're going to keep chopping wood. That's what we're going to do. That's what we do. We man up. That's what we do. We're going to keep working. The goal is the work, you know, and the results are in the work. The results will be in the work. You'll start seeing the results in your craft and what you do. But anyways, yeah, current events. I hate to say I told you so, but I saw that Trump and Iran were working on the Strait of Hormuz deal to open it back up. Hey, we told you here. That's what it's all about. It's all about that money. We want a piece of the strait. So I'm sure if they give us the proper deal, all this will go away. We'll back up. Everything will be back to normal. So hopefully the elites, the greedy, they get what they want. They get what they need so that they can let us small people not have to worry about war, not have to send people to die, you know, and everything can go back to quote unquote normal or life as we know it, at least between these entities. You know what I mean? I saw that, you know. Also, another thing I called Trump's approval rating went down. I saw that too. I told you, Trump, hey, bro, I should be your, what is it, chief of staff, second in command. vice president, whatever I should be. Maybe you need to come take notes from me because I told you, drop the stimmy, man. I'm going to keep telling you. Watch the approval rating through the roof. Through the roof. All you have to do is drop another stimulus, bro. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Just double it. Just whatever you did last time, double it. Your approval rating will skyrocket. Trump's funny, man. And I saw him shitting on Biden, and he said he doesn't feel sorry for Biden's cancer diagnosis. That's low. Come on, Trump.
You are fake news.
You could have just said no comment, bro. You don't have to do that. He's like, you don't. He doesn't care, man. This dude really doesn't care. Speaking of entitlement, this guy does not care. He's emboldened to say anything that he wants. It's crazy, man. And I also saw on the news that I think it was New York, they were talking about bringing in dolls, boy and girl dolls with the parts switched to teach them about trans options. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the sickness that I'm talking about. Why does a child need to know that? Dude, when we were growing up, the dolls didn't even have genitalia. Why do you want to mix these kids up? There's an agenda here. Just like I said with the WNBA being a vehicle for the LGBTQ and trans community, this is where it's going, to push to young girls and men, to confuse them, to make them, bro, let these kids have their innocence. I live in one of the 8 states that require trans teachings in school. And that's okay. But why the fuck does it have to be K through 12? That's what I don't like. That's what's not okay. Why does it have to start in kindergarten? Why not wait until sex education at least, or high school, when they have a curiosity and they know these things? A 6-year-old does not need to know that a boy and girl genitalia can be switched around. That's not progressive. That's not to teach. That's to push an agenda. You're pushing an agenda. Not only are you pushing an agenda, you're trying to confuse these kids. There's nothing, that doesn't need to be taught. They don't need to know that. They should still be watching Miss Rachel and SpongeBob and shit like that. They don't need to be coaxed into this so they can be confused. For what? What are you teaching them this at this age, at that tender age? Why? Because it's an agenda that's being pushed. That's why. And it's sick and it's disgusting. And like I said, I live in one of the 8 states that requires that. But if they come out, if this thing is true about these dolls, these transgender dolls, and showing them to children, shame on you. Shame on you. And whoever supports that, shame on you too. And this is the shit we need to stop. This is the stuff we need to speak up about. Because it's not okay. Not for the kids. No. If you want to teach your child that at home, then that's your choice. But this stuff should not, these agendas and these practices should not be forced on children, young children. It should not ever happen. Period. And we'll get into that on a later note. We'll touch on this on a later note. I've already talked your ear off enough today. You've been sitting with me. I hope you had a beer, some popcorn or something. You know, I appreciate you hanging out with me, listening to me rant and rave. I'm pretty sure that's all we got. That's all I got for you today, man. Until next time, stay blessed, stay safe, stay aware out here because there's a lot of things going on. Just stay alert. And, like clockwork, next week we'll be back. I'll be back week after week. I'm going to be back fat on a big back.
Really, nigga?
You understand that? I'm going to be back again and again and again, God willing. So see you guys next time. Thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate you. Love you. Stay safe until next time. And remember, don't just play the game, change the game. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
the cash.